Right, we're going to need to crack open a monster for this one. Right, so let's get talking. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. Check us out on YouTube, Warstu. Check us out on Instagram, @Warstu, if you want to see the face behind the voice. Also, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, aka The Nightmare. Now, something that has come to my attention is the fantasy website. There was an article from The Cultured Nerd on the 3rd of June, 2020. That they've got information that I also heard information from different sources about, essentially AT&T and HBO Max wanting the Ben Affleck series with Jared Leto, Joe Manganiello, and also Warstu to be in it. But what makes me laugh about this fantasy website is they say that Ben Affleck's going to die in the Flash movie, and now they're saying that AT&T wants Ben Affleck for his series. They're literally just spitballing exactly what the Cultured Nerd website said nearly a year ago now, with no substance, with no new information. It's all interesting, but realistically there's no new context. The new context is AT&T wants to use Ben Affleck HBO Max series to get more subscribers and do it on a weekly basis, which literally is what I've been saying for nearly a year now, probably over a year, which is, it's pretty funny actually. So we all know it's going to be an episodic episode. It's going to show the death of Robin. We're going to see the Joker. We're going to see why Joe Manganiello is annoyed with Batfleck and all this kind of good stuff. But for some reason, you guys keep tagging me and all this stuff saying it's new news, and it's not new news. It's old news. Something will come fruition, and it's interesting. Ben Affleck's just coming back to be killed off in the Flash movie. Is he? Is he not? No, he's not. Christian Bale's going to be in the Flash movie now that Michael Keaton's out. No, he's not, because there's images going around and there's information going around that the Michael Keaton Batmobile has been seen. They're building it, so Michael Keaton will be featured in the Flash movie, as we know. So if you compare both the articles, one from nearly a year ago and one from the 16th, which is a few days ago, there is literally nothing different. I'm told that AT&T wants Ben Affleck Batman movie. Okay, yeah, the headline says serious. Make your freaking mind up. Serious or movie? It's not the same thing. It's like 1 minute Batfleck's being killed in the Flash movie, now they want him for it as serious. Interesting. It's not interesting. So I'll link the original source, which is The Cultured Nerd, and it's also interesting that Zack Snyder himself came out on a trade and literally said identical things that had been said before. Yeah, guys, it's very interesting. So this article is from this year, January the 28th, and then Zack Snyder came out with a trade, we'll talk about that in a minute, after, and said literally the same thing. So it is pretty darn interesting. So what essentially it says is, the content will include a backstory of Joker and the death of Robin, Brewster Force and the decomposition of Wayne Manor. They've been currently scouting shooting locations and looking for an actor to portray Robin. We've been told the actor they're looking for as Robin is an adult. The incarnation is a seasoned character that will meet his demise at the hands of the Joker. The Deathstroke portion of the series will include a backstory for Slade Wilson, Bill Wintergreen, and the contract of Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg is close to closing. Joe Manganiello in his role as Wilson stroke Deathstroke. The project is expected to shoot after The Flash. And then a few days later, Zack Snyder went on to Variety and literally said word for word the information that the Cultured Nerd said previously a week before. But the Cultured Nerd have been speaking about this Batfleck series for such a long time. So when a fantasy website comes out and makes out they've gone exclusive, all they're doing is literally adding something to a story which has no credibility. Because here it's like, Batfleck HBO Max project was discussed to be a flashback, so his death in the Flash movie wouldn't contradict it a la Black Widow. Who actually said that Ben Affleck was coming back to die in the Flash movie? They rewrote part of the movie for Ben Affleck. Do you really think he would return just to die? I know everyone seems to think there's this prerequisite that there's a Crisis on Infinite Earth stroke Flashpoint storyline where instead of the Flash or Supergirl, essentially it's going to be Ben Affleck Batman that dies in the Flash movie. But realistically, that makes no sense. It really doesn't make any sense for that being the reason. So if you go through this fancy website, fancy article, because let's be honest, most of this stuff's made up and fantasy based, based. There really isn't any information new that's been added since the Culture Nerd posted the article in January or their article from June. They're just jumping on the, oh yeah, they want the Ben Affleck series to be like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Don't. You've obviously not been hearing what Joe Manganiello has said at all. Joe Manganiello has said multiple times, he's gone in depth of what the Batfleck solo movie would have been. But this doesn't mean this is what the HBO Max series could be or would be. It says Deathstroke was like a shark or a horror movie villain dismantling Bruce's life from the inside out, he told Yahoo. He killed everyone close to Bruce, destroying his life to try and make him suffer because he felt that Bruce was responsible for what happened to him, implying his son. Pretty interesting. Then Manganiello went on and said why Deathstroke was after Batman. In the Batman script, Deathstroke lost his son and he blamed Batman for it, just like you would. So yeah, it went pretty dark, and it says the film was going to feature Arkham Asylum as well. He said that on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. It was going to go into the insanity aspect, so I think that would have been something a little darker than what we've seen in the past, and more into the individual who's inside Batman, who was entering into a little more of the Arkham Asylum. He was going to go where you keep everyone who's bad and everyone has shifted. He also included the caveat, was a script, but not a love script. There was a lot of work that he was doing to it. He was trying to change it. Yeah, because all the problems at WB, so we know that all the information is out there, but it just makes me laugh when little fantasy websites come out and claim they've got all these sources and all these information. And then realistically, you look back and it's like, all right, the Culture Nerd and like podcast said this like a year ago, but all you're adding is, all right, now AT&T wants it. So it is interesting. I'm not going to give creditation to the fantasy website because it's a fantasy website, but what is interesting is how kind of Michael Keaton was out and now everyone's speaking about, oh, Michael Keaton's Batmobile is being built. Now he's back in. As we know, they are shooting in the UK, but they're also going to be shooting all over the shop for this Flash movie if it actually gets finished, because I still don't believe we're ever going to get this Flash movie. But according to an article from Deadline, although I don't really believe Deadline because they said there was no Snyder cut. So it says the production slate for directors Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti, production company A Dream Doubles list of Flash as being in production currently in London. Barbara Muschietti previously teased a project commencing production on social media. The Flash solo movie first started in 2013 and now 2021. Yeah, it just sounds like a fan-made movie, this Flash movie does. So apparently it's going to have Warstu, Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, Sasha, Kirstie Clemens, and Christian Bale's not in it. That was absolute fantasy story. So yeah, the Flash movie is scheduled to come out November the 4th, 2022. But as we know, with the world we live in, a lot of these movies will never make the mandates that they've got. But it's interesting they've started production. So maybe we'll get this movie in the next 5 years or so. So guys, that's the latest information we know about the Batfleck series. I know there isn't really any new information about the Batfleck series, but the fact that Batfleck is playing Batman in the Flash movie is very interesting, and it will be interesting to see how this story divulges. And yes, we're going to get a lot of fake news about the Batfleck story, Justice League 2, and all this other kind of good stuff, which will be fake news from certain websites trying to push an agenda, trying to push their information out there, which realistically there is no new information. This information about the Batfleck stuff that the fantasy website was talking about dates back to last year, 2020, June, and then some information that came out in January that was backed up by Snyder. There's so many people talking about it. Joe Manganiello is literally winking at you. HBO Max Deathstroke series. Essentially, Deathstroke was getting an origin inside the Batman movie originally. But like always, guys, all information can change. So technically, in the world of journalism, a story isn't ever false. It just gets updated and updated and updated. But as for the fantasy website, they're just literally posting the Culture Nerds information and adding the Batman with Batfleck was supposed to die in the Flash movie, but now he's not because they want him on a series. Interesting. It'd be interesting when all this stuff gets confirmed and verified. If it does, it will be very interesting. As I said, I'm going to double down on the kind of Justice League 2 stuff and all this kind of stuff, but I did get a lot of people talking about this Batfleck story a few days back, and I thought, well, that's realistically the Culture Nerds information, so let's just go over it again to give some highlightation and some creditation where it's due. So it's cool that we got the Black Adam movie shooting, which is cool. My boy Henry Cavill's supposed to be it. Is he? I don't. Realistically, maybe post-credit scene, maybe. But yeah, it's interesting how they finished The Witcher season 2, and now Henry Cavill's available if they need him. You know, interesting. He posted that little, this is how my rehab's going. Interesting, isn't it? And it's cool that they're finally filming The Flash, although it could take like 5 years to film it. So guys, don't go ham in the comment section. But all I wanted to do is put another video out about the Batfleck series, debunking the fake news websites, the fantasy websites, because we keep it 100 here. Yes, if Black Adam is going to appear in a movie with Superman, it would make sense for it to be the Black Adam movie, but no one can scoop that started saying Henry Cavill could appear. Yeah, every person under the sun has been saying that Superman could appear in Black Adam. I've been saying it for years. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could happen. It would make more sense for Superman to appear in Shazam 2, to be honest. The Rock restoring the multiverse. Because do you get what I did there, guys? Restoring the multiverse because Zack Snyder started the multiverse in the Justice League movie. Yeah, the story about The Rock, I mean, obviously The Rock wants to support Zack Snyder, but that doesn't mean he's going there. The Rock is not worth billions. He's worth 400 million net worth. So these people saying The Rock is billions, absolute nonsense. Christian Bale in talk. No, he's not. Christian Bale's really not returning. He is not returning. That seems to be like a backup plan. George Clooney. We want the Clooney Batman to come back. Bring George Clooney back. So like always, guys, I would debunk rubbish when I hear it. The Rock wants to produce Henry Cavill's Man. I want to produce. Warstu wants to produce Man of Steel 2. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, does it? No. And the SnyderVerse. It doesn't really matter what goes on in the SnyderVerse or whatever happens post the Flash movie, because the multiverse means we can have 700,000 different storylines if we want to. The cancellation of New Gods movies doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. They were never getting made, were they? No. So it's interesting, guys. Like always, I'll keep you up to date with all the latest and greatest real, the key word here, real information. So like always, guys, as I said, when I hear new information about Justice League 2, the SnyderVerse, how the meetings went with Warner Bros. And Zack's team, I will let you know. So all requested videos down below, guys. Don't go ham. This is just an updated video to let you know what's up. Give creditation. The Culture Nerd called it first, and Zack backed him up pretty much with what Zack said was going to be in the original movie. He literally backed him up, and Manganello literally kind of said very similar things. So all the information is there. If you want to wink behind a camera, you can wink, if you get what I'm saying. So like always, guys, I'll catch you in another video. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Instagram, WarstuG, aka The Nightmare. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.